Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a massive medical mystery that affects so many of us. We're investigating the invisible, biological factors behind unexplained chronic fatigue. What exactly is happening when you feel absolutely drained, like you're running on fumes, yet on paper, you look completely healthy? We're going to break down some real-world insights directly from clinical practice to uncover what's actually going on inside your cells.
So, you know the feeling, right? You drag yourself into the clinic, just feeling terrible. The doctor runs, 30 or 40 different blood tests, and then they tell you everything looks perfectly fine. It is incredibly frustrating. You're sitting there thinking, okay, if there's nothing wrong with me, why do I feel so awful? It's a super confusing place to be. But as you'll see today, your exhaustion is very real, even if standard medicine just isn't catching it on a routine scan.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll redefine the real meaning of no abnormality. Second, we'll uncover the 4 causes of chronic fatigue. Third, we'll look at customized improvement strategies. And finally, we'll explore a new option, regenerative medicine.
Part 1. The real meaning of no abnormality, or what we can call the diagnostic trap.
To really figure this out, we have to look way beyond standard diagnostics. So when a doctor says your blood test is normal, what they're really saying is just that you don't have an active recognizable disease. And here's the absolutely crucial distinction, symptoms don't only come from diseases. You can feel completely exhausted from a lack of exercise, natural aging, plain old mental stress, or honestly just being burned out and needing a fun night out with your family. A clean bill of health doesn't mean your symptoms are fake. It just means the root cause is hiding somewhere else in your day-to-day life.
Let's move to part 2 and see how this builds. The 4 causes of chronic fatigue, uncovering the invisible culprits. There are actually 4 main invisible culprits behind this kind of chronic fatigue. Now, we call these subclinical causes, which basically means they aren't going to trigger red flags on an MRI or a standard blood panel. And because they hide so incredibly well, we have to zoom way in on our habits and our cellular health to see how they're quietly stealing our vitality. Let's break them down. The first major cause is all about your sleep, lifestyle, and stress. This covers sneaky issues like sleep apnea that literally robs you of oxygen while you sleep. But it also includes stuff you might totally overlook. Maybe you recently lost some weight and quietly depleted your muscle mass. Or maybe you gained some weight and it's putting this heavy, constant burden on your system. Even totally natural things like menopausal hormone shifts can profoundly drain your energy reserves without ever showing up on a medical chart. Because number 2 takes us right down to the cellular level, mitochondria depletion. We usually just assume that eating food equals getting energy, right? But food is actually just the raw material. Your mitochondria are the little cellular powerhouses that process those materials. If these tiny engines get exhausted, you are going to feel it, no matter how healthy your diet is. The good news, though, is that they can absolutely be revitalized through specific diet and exercise habits. Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer scale of what's happening inside you. We're talking about roughly 2,000 mitochondria living inside every single cell in your body. It's wild. They're like their own little microscopic organisms working around the clock just to keep you energized. And when you add up all those thousands of mitochondria across all of your cells, they make up about 10% of your total body weight. To put that into perspective, if you weigh 50 kilograms, about 5 kilos of you is purely mitochondria. When a system that massive gets tired, you're going to feel it in your bones for sure. We literally cannot afford to ignore them. Okay, our third invisible cause is autonomic nerve imbalance. Think of your nervous system like a seesaw. On one side, you have your sympathetic nerves. That's your stress, your fight or flight mode. On the other side, your parasympathetic nerves, which help you rest and digest. Well, our modern daily stressors cause those sympathetic nerves to just constantly spike. This puts a massive, unrelenting strain on your organs and blood vessels. It's basically the root cause of so many illnesses because your body just never gets the chance to properly wind down and recover. And the final hidden culprit is low-grade chronic inflammation. Now, unlike an acute illness that knocks you off your feet where it's super obvious, this low-grade inflammation operates totally invisibly in the background. It often starts right in your gut, producing these inflammatory proteins called cytokines. They quietly but continuously drain your body's resources, leaving you feeling mysteriously exhausted. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. Acute inflammation is loud, like getting a nasty stomach bug where you know right away you're sick. But low-grade chronic inflammation, much sneakier. We've all been there. You eat a giant, heavy bowl of super rich ramen or a bunch of gluten, and the next day you just feel incredibly heavy and sluggish.
You're not sick per se, but your gut is sounding a low-grade alarm, triggering an inflammatory response that just drags your whole body down. And here's why that sluggish feeling is actually a huge deal. Dealing with this continuous gut-level inflammation forces your body to constantly burn through its limited supply of repair substances and stem cells. Instead of using those precious resources to keep you energized and youthful, your body is wasting them fighting this invisible fire. This specific resource drain is what directly causes that tired, rapidly aging feeling.
Section 3. Customized Improvement Strategies. Fixing the Unseen.
So now that we know what's hiding in the shadows, how do medical professionals actually fix this when standard tests fail? Well, it's actually surprisingly grounded. Step 1 is a very long, highly detailed interview about your daily life. They don't just want your blood sugar, they want to know exactly what time you sleep, what you eat, how you spend your afternoon. Then step 2 is all about highly personalized tweaks. For you, it might mean adding aerobic exercise to boost your mitochondria. For someone else, it might be a diet change to calm gut inflammation. And finally, step 3 explores specific medical options, building a totally customized strategy for every single person.
Which brings us to Section 4, a new option, regenerative medicine and elevating your foundational health.
So the crucial point here is that we aren't talking about some wild sci-fi cure. Clinicians view things like stem cell therapies as having a foundational effect that's actually really similar to laughing, exercising, or just dramatically improving your diet. They are incredibly promising tools designed to raise your baseline health and restore those depleted cellular resources when your symptoms aren't caused by a traditional active disease.
Ultimately, whether you're using standard lifestyle modifications, changing up your diet, or exploring regenerative medicine, the main goal is always to treat the underlying invisible cause of your fatigue. We're not just trying to chase down a diagnostic label, we're actively trying to elevate the entire health of your body's system.
As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a thought. Which of these invisible culprits might be hiding in your own life right now? Is it a lack of deep sleep? Are your mitochondria depleted? Is daily stress just driving your sympathetic nerves crazy? Or is something in your diet causing low-grade inflammation? I really encourage you to take a hard look at your daily routines today, because the power to reclaim your energy is almost always hiding right there in your habits. But it definitely begs the question, if standard blood tests are missing all of this, what other hidden signals is your body sending that you and your doctor might be ignoring? Thanks so much for joining me on today's Explainer.